Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Sadashivasamārambhām Shankaracharya-madhyamām Asmadacharya-paryantām Vande Guru-paraṁparām. Shruti-smriti-purāṇānaṁ Ālayam Karuణālayam Namāmi Bhagavad-pāda Shankaram Lokashankaram. Samasta-jana-kalyāne Niratam Karuణāmayam Namāmi Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma-vidvaram. Sadgurum Brahma-vidvaram. Om Partaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Graditam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshini Bhagavati Ashtadashadhyayini Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvanti Devyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanisadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagah Dhyanavastita Dadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam na vidusura suraganah Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha. Hari Om. Arjuna asked Bhagavan Sri Krishna to place his chariot in between the two armies so that he can see those who are standing in front of him. And he said, I want to see them. I want to see who I have to fight, whom I have to fight. Bhagavan did just that. But he did a little bit mischief also. Little bit of mischief. He took the chariot and put it right in front of Bhishma and Drona, for whom Arjuna had a very strong attachment. That attachment was there all along, but it manifested when he saw Bhishma and Drona in front on the enemy battle line. And he also saw all his relatives standing ready to fight that war. That intense attachment resulted in intense sorrow. So Arjuna was gripped with extreme sorrow. How does he experience, how does he express the intensity of this sorrow? Let us see. We will see the continuation of verse 28. Arjuna uvacha drashvemam swajanam Krishna drashvemam swajanam Krishna yuyutsum samupastitam yuyutsum samupastitam सीदन्ति मम गात्राणि सीदन्ति मम गात्राणि मुखं च परिशुष्यति मुखं च परिशुष्यति वेपतुश्च शरीरे मे वेपतुश्च शरीरे मे रोमहर्षश्च जायते रोमहर्षश्च जायते गाण्डीवं संसृते हस्तात् गाण्डीवं संसृते हस्तात् त्वक्चैव परिदह्यते त्वक्चैव परिदह्यते न च शक्योम् अवस्थातुं न च शक्योऽम्यवस्थातुं भ्रमतीव च मे मनः भ्रमतीव च मे मनः अर्जुन उवाच दृष्ट्वेमं स्वजनं कृष्ण युयुत्सुं समुपस्थितं सीदन्ति मम गात्राणि मुखं च परिशुष्यति वेपतुश्च शरीरे मे रोमहर्षश्च जायते गाण्डीवं संसृते हस्तात् त्वक्चैव परिदह्यते न च शक्योऽम्यवस्थातुं भ्रमतीव च मे मनः. In these three verses, 26 through 28, we saw the problem of raga, the first symptom of samsara. Now from this verse to verse 31, we will see the second symptom of samsara revealed, and that is the grief or sorrow. So from raga, attachment, we move to shoka, grief. And thereafter we will see the third symptom of moha, delusion. As I had said before, this is not only Arjuna's problem. This is a universal problem. For each one of us, the object of attachment may vary, but the problem of attachment is universal. We clearly see that since the attachment was so intense, the grief will also be intense. When the mind is intensely afflicted, then the suffering will overflow to the physical body also. If it is a small problem, we keep it in the mind and outwardly we can pretend, everything is fine. We may smile, we may even forget it. We may say the mind is different, body is different. But when the emotions are intense, its effects overflow to the physical body. Arjuna's sorrow was intense. So it begins to show at the physical level as well. That is what he is going to describe now. So Arjuna says, Hey Krishna, O Lord, imam swajanam drishtva. Drishtva, having seen or seeing, swajanam. All these people of mine, my people, these are my relatives. I belong to them and they belong to me. So this is the problem of ahankara and mamakara. Ahankara, the I-ness. Mamakara, the minus. We have a sense of belonging. I belong to someone, and that person belongs to me. This sense of belonging is called attachment. And Arjuna expresses this by using the word swa, mine. Note this word particularly. It will be repeated several times in the first chapter. This is another crucial word of the first chapter. Swajana. Swajana means my people. There's nothing wrong in claiming some people as mine. Nothing wrong. This is my wife, this is my husband, this is my daughter, this is my son, this is my sweet grandchildren. These are my... Nothing wrong. Nothing. After all, we are worldly beings and we belong to someone. Many people belong to us. All that is fine. But when the sense of belonging begins to get to that level of intense attachment, and when that attachment begins to cloud our intellect, then it causes all kinds of problems. So we have to watch out for that. When that attachment becomes so intense, we begin to lose sight of what is dharma and adharma. We are all very dharmic when it comes to others. They should not have done. That is very adharmic. But when the same mistake or worse, some crime, our kith and kin, they commit that, then we begin to justify that. It happens. That is because of attachment only. Until now, Arjuna had said, on the opposite side, they were all Dhardharashtra Durbuddhehe. These people, sons of Dhritarashtra, evil-minded, wicked-minded and all that. Now see the dramatic change. He said before that these people are terrible, wicked and evil. They have joined Duryodhana and they are adharmic, so unrighteous, so wrong. They need to be punished. I'm going to fight with them and all that. They came to that decision to fight after a lot of deliberation only. It was not a knee-jerk reaction or anything. We will see that in the story. I'll come to that. We have not come to that part. How they deliberated, negotiated. So much went on before they got to the battlefield. He had at that time, through that, of dharma, adharma, viveka. Buddhi was working. But now, standing in front of Bhishma and Drona, and then seeing all his cousins, all other relatives, Arjuna slips from the intellect level to the mind level. From being rational to being emotional. So instead of calling them adharmic, unrighteous, he calls them my own people. Swajana, Manavadu. That means what? If our people do unrighteous things, that's okay. When others do wrong, they need to be punished. That's what happens. Arjuna is getting into such a problem. The moment he started saying Swajana, my people, he forgot all the adharma they had perpetrated. The vision is very clear. It does not matter whether they are my people or somebody else. Adharma, the wrong, should be punished. Begins to see the relationships and comes down to the emotional plane. His intellect gets clouded. That is indicated by the repeated expression of Swajana. We will see that later also. I had told you, Bhashyakara has not commented on the first chapter at all. His commentary begins only with the 11th verse of the second chapter, but he summarizes the portion before that as an introduction leading to that verse. In that summary, he only says one thing. Arjuna suffered from the problem of aham yesham mama yete. I am theirs and they are mine. That's deep sense of belonging, otherwise called raga, attachment. And that is indicated with his frequent use of the word Swajana, my people. What type of people? They have come here to the battlefield not for enjoying the relationship, but for fighting. What is happening to me seeing them? He describes, Sidanti mama gatrani. My limbs are failing me. That didn't happen suddenly. He imagined, he thought about what will happen in the war. He imagined the death of the near and dear ones. He imagined his survival and he imagined his life without those people. But the more he ruminates over these, the imagination becomes more real. The more real it becomes, the more intense becomes his sorrow. Any emotional problem does not happen with just one thought. It's a slow build-up of thoughts. Generally, we find that to get to such intense emotion, one repeats the thought over and over again. Single thought is not anger. Single thought is not sorrow. We also use the expression premeditated murder. It was just not off the cuff act. He thought about it, planned it. So, such actions as well as emotions the same way. The intense emotion requires our cooperation. What is our cooperation? We provide the condition, the ideal condition. You can deal with emotional problems if you stop the second thought. The first thought is not in our hands. Some thoughts just bubble up from our vasanas, which start expressing as desire. A thought comes. The first thought is an experience. Really don't have control over that. But whether you want to entertain the thought, repeat it, that is in our hands. If I choose not to repeat it, then that thought will not win over me. We can dismiss it. What is this? You're better than that. Forget about it. Do that, even if it's a bad thought. But if you allow the thought to continue, it will become like a huge wave. A tiny little ripple becomes a huge wave. That huge wave, very powerful. Arjuna had allowed the ripple of thought to become a big wave, and that is beginning to overpower him. So his powerful hands that destroyed many asuras, he has fought other battles before. Siddhanti, his hands are failing him. He is not even able to hold that bow. He says, Mama Gatrani, my limbs are shaking. They are becoming weaker and weaker. And Mukham cha parishusyati, my mouth is drying up. The problem is in his head, but the mouth is drying up. If you have any doubts, try public speaking. You will know the first time. Not only my mouth is parched, Vepatoscha sharire me, my entire body is shivering. Roma harshascha jayate, my hairs are standing on ends. Gandivam samsrate hastat, from my hand, Gandivam, Arjuna's bow was called Gandiva, that is slipping from my hands. My hands are becoming weak. Tvakchaiva paridahyate, my skin is burning. I am nacha shaknomi avastatum, not even able to stand. My brahmativa chame manaha, my head is spinning. Like they show in the cartoons. Bugs Bunny road runner. When it hits something, spinning. Birds chirping. That's what is happening to me. Not only that, Nimittani cha pashyami viparitani Keshava. O Keshava, O Lord, viparitani nimittani. I'm seeing bad omens. From that, most of the bad omens that we predict are projected from our own mind. When we are strong, we see good omens. Everything is good. But when we become weaker and weaker, we start seeing things. Bad omens. Similarly, Arjuna says, I am seeing bad omens. Very clearly, he is in intense sorrow. What is the further consequence of sorrow? Arjuna is in intense sorrow now. And what happens next? Depression. So now Arjuna will go through deep depression also, which is just an extension of sorrow. How is that described? Nimittani cha pashyami, nimittani cha pashyami, viparitani Keshava, nacha shreyonu pashyami, nacha shreyonu pashyami, hatva swajanamahave, hatva swajanamahave, Nakangshe Vijayam Krishna, Nakangshe Vijayam Krishna, Nacharajyam Sukhani cha, Nacharajyam Sukhani cha, Kim no Rajyena Govinda, Kim no Rajyena Govinda, Kim Bhogair Jivitena va. Kim bhogair jivitena va nimittani cha pashyami viparitani keshava na cha shreyo nupashyami hatva swajanamahave nakangshe vijayam krishna na cha rajyam sukhani cha Kim no rajena govinda, kim bhogair jivitena va. So Arjuna is going through these symptoms of depression also. How does that depression express itself? First, he begins to feel that the very life is not worth living. These are very typical signs of mental problems. One begins to think life is worthless. Why should I live? Why should I do anything? The whole life appears empty and meaningless. This is totally opposite to what Vedanta, which says the most meaningful entity in this whole world is you. Meaning for your life, meaning for your existence does not depend on your external factors at all. Ignorance leads one to associate with the world, with people, with various activities, and we begin to enjoy them. We begin to get more and more interested. We put our heart and soul in that pursuit. And then we say, all these things are wonderful, meaningful. After some time, it appears that all those things make our life meaningful. A musician feels that the music makes her life meaningful. A cricketer thinks that cricket makes his life meaningful. A workaholic thinks life after retirement is useless. He wants to work. Fact is, we are the one who give meaning to everything. Not knowing this leads us to the biggest confusion and delusion. Vedanta says nothing can make or give meaning to your life. Your life is worthwhile by itself. You add meaning to life. Nothing adds meaning to your life. Let the whole world exist or cease to exist. Your life is still meaningful. So do not connect the purpose or meaning to anything else at all. That's why we have to train our mind in the beginning itself. My life is full, complete because of itself, not because of any blessed thing. Arjuna is one who is not aware of this fact, and naturally he is down on himself. So he says, Nacha Shreyo Shreyaha Anupashyami. I don't see any good in my life without these people. Bhishma and Drona alone can make my life meaningful. Without their existence, Shreyaha na anupashyami. I don't see anything good at all in my life. Hatva swajanamahave. After killing my people, swajana, after killing my people, my life is meaningless. What about the victory in the war? Nakangshe Vijayam Krishna. Oh Krishna, I don't see any meaning in this victory. Vijayam na kangshe. He was very clear about the purpose of this war before. The purpose of the war was the destruction of evil and to establish what was right. He has forgotten all that. And he begins of a few people coming and going. That is being short-sighted. Our scriptures very clearly say people come and go. They are subject to arrival and departure. Whereas dharma is eternal. If at all you have attachment, be attached to dharma. Don't get attached to the ephemeral things, changing things, or changing people. In Kathopanishad, we saw Nachiketa says beautifully, Sasyamiva pachyate, Sasyamiva ajayate punah. People are mortals, just like crops. They grow and go. Holding on to mortals, how can he give up dharma? An attached mind sees people as more important than dharma. Whereas a man of right vision sees dharma as more important than the mere mortals. So obviously Arjuna is confused. Nakangshe Vijayam Krishna, Nacharajyam. Even the kingdom is meaningless. Nasukanicha. Not all the pleasures of life living in that kingdom, in the royal palace. Kim no Rajyena Govinda. Hey Govinda, what is the use of getting a kingdom? Kim bhogaihi jivitena va. What is the meaning of all this enjoyment? Jivitena va, or even living. What is the purpose of kingdom? What is the purpose of all? What is the purpose of living? Arjuna keeps on going. But what do our scriptures say? They say the purpose of living is to uphold dharma at the society level, the spiritual attainment at the individual level. If you forget that, you get into trouble. All this trouble you will get into. Arjuna forgot the purpose of living is spiritual attainment, and when that happens, naturally you run into problems. On the battlefield, when there was an opportunity to fight and establish dharma, instead his attachment and the resultant sorrow left him totally unable to act. Yesha marte kangshitam nah, Yesha marte kangshitam nah, Rajyam bhoga sukhani cha, Rajyam bhoga sukhani cha, Tayimeva stita yuddhe, Tayimeva stita yuddhe, Pranam styaktva dhanani cha, Pranam styaktva dhanani cha, Yesham arte kangshitam nah, Rajyam bhoga sukhani cha, Tayimeva stita yuddhe, Pranam styaktva dhanani cha. As I've been saying, here also we find Arjuna forgot the original purpose of the battle. In this verse he says, Yesham arte kangshitam naha rajyam bhogaha sukanicha. Through this battle, we want to get this kingdom. So the purpose of the war is rajyam bhogaha, getting back this kingdom and enjoying sukhanicha, all the pleasures born out of the royal life. What is the purpose of? It is for yesham arte, to be with these people, Bhishma. So he says, we want to get back the kingdom, enjoy all the royal pleasures and share it with Bhishma and Drona. That's what I want to accomplish. And I want to dedicate them and show them to Bhishma and Drona. But if we win, they are going to be destroyed. See how Arjuna's mind is getting confused. The purpose was not to get back the kingdom. The real purpose of the war was to fight adharma. And whoever has joined that adharmic enemies, they have to be destroyed. Bhishma and Drona have joined them, and they are also to be destroyed. You have to view them as collateral damage, nothing more than that. This vision was very clear before. Now he says, we are fighting this battle for the sake of Bhishma and Drona, so that we can be with them. All these people, te ime avastita yuddhe, these very people, pranan tyaktva dhananicha, they are sacrificing their life, pranan tyaktva, and also dhananicha, their wealth, everything they are giving up. Therefore, Arjuna's argument is, if I win this war and get this kingdom, to whom will I show all this? It's like you have $3,000 and spend it to buy an expensive Italian leather purse. And you are left with no money to put in that purse. It's like this. I win this war to gain all these bounties and give them to Bhishma and Drona, and they should say, well done. So I fight this war, I get this kingdom, but I would have killed them. Then to whom will I show that kingdom? So this war is utterly meaningless. These are all Arjuna's arguments right now in his confused state of mind. Continuing, he says, Acharyah pitarah putrah, Acharyah pitarah putrah, Tataiva cha pitamahah, Tataiva cha pitamahah, Matula swashura pautra hai, Matula swashura pautra hai, Shala sambandhinastata, Shala sambandhinastata, Yetan nahantumichchami, Yetan nahantumichchami, Gnatopi madhusudhana, Gnatopi madhusudana, Apitrailokya rajyasya, Apitrailokya rajyasya, Hetoh kim nu mahi krute, Hetoh kim nu mahi krute, Acharya pitarah putrah, Tataiva cha pitamahah, Matula shvashura pautrah, Shyala sambandhinastata, Matula svashura pautrah, Shala sambandhinastata etan nahantumichhami gnatopi madhusudana apitrailokya rajyasya hetoh kim mahikrite. Sounds like we have read this verse before, doesn't it? He gives the list again. That is why this is deja vu. He gave this list before, but he repeats it again and again. Another typical symptom of one going through depression. Like a broken record. They keep repeating what they said many, many times. However much you try to console them, does not work. Only time alone heals and helps them. Or a lesson for us, a better way is to be prepared before such a tragedy comes. Facing the problem when it actually comes is extremely difficult. You have to be prepared. That's why we say, have the Lord on your side, have devotion to the Lord, have all those beforehand. Prevention is better than cure. Preparation is better than a shock. Unfortunately, Arjuna was not prepared. So he is breaking down. While all this is happening, Bhagwan Sri Krishna is totally silent. He doesn't utter a word. He is a silent spectator. But all he is saying, that is what he is saying. Nothing more than. He wants to allow Arjuna to vent out all his emotions. This is a training for us also. If we witness something like this with someone in our life, don't start preaching Vedanta. Just listen. Just listen. Allow them to exhaust their feelings. This is a very good advice. Especially to the men out there. Okay. Your near and dear wife, if she comes and says this, that, let her speak. Don't be a hero, try to fix it. And it's not going to work. I can tell you that. She just wants to talk. That's all. Simple. Life would be much better. Anyway. So Bhagwan is showing us that. So many lessons in Gita. Just listen. Allow them to exhaust their feelings. So now, Arjuna continues with his list. What is this? Acharyaha, teachers. Pitaraha, fathers. I've explained all this before, so no need to go back. I'll just give the translation. Putraha, sons. Pitamahaha, grandfathers. Matulaha, maternal uncles. Shvashuraha, fathers-in-law. Pautraha, grandsons. Shyalaha, brothers-in-law. Sambandhinaha. In short, all relatives. So Arjuna says, Yetan nahantum ichhami. Come what may, I will not hurt them. I will not kill them. And this sounds looks as though he's very compassionate. Very difficult to figure out what is attachment and what is compassion. We may think Arjuna has compassion. On what basis do we say that it is the problem of attachment. Difference is only this. In attachment, one's vision of dharma and adharma gets clouded. On the other hand, in compassion, however much it comes, however much a person is disturbed by compassion, he will not violate dharma. All these we are studying, be it Bhagavad Gita or Mahabharata, Ramayana, all the Puranas, etc. It is to help us understand what is dharma, what is adharma. Otherwise, our mind will play tricks on us. We have to get that kind of discrimination very clearly. Give a simple and there is a convicted criminal. He may feel compassion for that criminal. Maybe death sentence is what the prosecutors are asking. And that poor fellow, he is asking for mercy. And we have, in our judicial system, we will have, friends, relatives come and present their case. Even for that person who has been sentenced, who has been found guilty, is about to receive the sentence, his near and dear ones can appeal to the judge, and they usually ask for mercy. That fellow himself may show remorse and plead for mercy. It's ironic that the criminal showed no mercy when he killed, but when he is facing the death penalty, he wants the judge to be merciful. However much the criminal, that felon, is pleading, and however much the judge feels for him, and the criminal's spouse and children are pleading, the judge cannot but hand him the appropriate sentence. If Arjuna shows compassion and walks off the misplaced compassion, therefore it is the problem of attachment only. So he says, Yetan nahantum ichchami. I do not want to kill them. Gnataha api, even if they will kill us. O Madhusudana, he very cleverly chooses a name for Sri Krishna. Madhusudana. One who has killed the demon Madhu. When you killed him, you did not face any problems. Killing that Rakshasa was easy. But here, what do I have to do? I have to kill my own relatives. So he is bringing in Madhu's name, but he conveniently forgot the fact that Bhagavan also killed his own uncle Kamsa. So he addresses Sri Krishna as Madhusudana. For you, the job was easy. I cannot do this. Gnataha api. Even if they attack us, api trailokya rajyasya hetoho. Even for the sake of all the three worlds, I will not do that. That will not compensate for my Bhishma and Drona. Then what to talk of Kimnu Mahikrite, forgetting this small kingdom, paltry kingdom. I will choose Bhishma and Drona over fighting this war and gaining the kingdom. Then what happened? Come back next week. We will continue. Oh. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.